Hi, and welcome back to Yoga with Tim. I'm Tim, and today I'm here with Marlena, and she's going to be demonstrating the poses. Ollie will just be sitting here in the way licking himself. We're going to begin today's practice in a supine position. So lie down onto your back in Baddha Konasana with the soles of your feet together and your knees wide apart. So as you relax here in this position on your back, I want you to either place a hand on your belly or just bring your awareness to your belly and visualize like your breath can move all the way down towards your belly. Feel your belly can inflate as you breathe in and it can deflate as you breathe out. So you're just really allowing that area to soften. And then more accurately, visualize your lungs where they sit in your body and visualize those lungs fully expanding as you're breathing in and fully deflating as you're breathing out. Then bring your knees together and we're going to work on turning on the legs and the back body at the same time. So if you have a block, I'm going to ask you to take your block and place it right in between your thighs. Now, as you squeeze in on your block, feel the front of the thigh and the back of the leg, the hamstring side, are squeezing in evenly. The thighs aren't turned out. They'll want to turn out when you go to press into your feet. Then take your arms to your side, press your elbows down, press the shoulder head down, the back of the shoulder, and as you press down, feel the back muscles turn on, but make sure that you don't puff out from your ribs. Then as you press down into the four corners of your feet, lift up your hips. Good. And feel those back muscles turn on as you press down with the shoulder heads, the elbows. Squeeze in even on your block. Make sure that the backs of the legs aren't starting to turn into the block more than the front. And then lift up 1 more inch with your buttock. Squeeze the hamstrings, buttocks to the backs of the knees. And then slowly lower your buttock down so it's hovering just 1 inch above the floor. Pause there. And then as you exhale, press into your feet, lift your hips back up again, and hold at that top position. Hug in even on the block. Feel your back muscles turn on as you press down with your arms. And then lift up 1 more inch as you engage the backs of the legs and firm the buttock towards the backs of the knees. Lower back down so your buttocks hovering 1 inch above the floor. Now without your shoulders turning in, stretch your arms out along the floor. Lift your hips back up. Hold there, pause at the top position. Now squeeze the backs of your legs, buttocks, and lift just 1 more inch. Lower back down so you're hovering 1 inch above the mat. Last one, press down into your feet, lift up, hold there. Good, now from here, we'll take the block to the side, and as you press down even into your left foot, bring your right leg up into a tabletop position. So feel your core turn on to stabilize you. As you inhale, slowly lower your hips so you're hovering 1 inch above the mat again. And as you exhale, lift back up. But see if you can keep that left thigh still turned so its knee is pointing straight ahead. Lower down slowly as you breathe in. Lift back up as you breathe out. 1 more time, lower down slowly as you breathe in. And lift back up as you breathe out. Change legs, lower the right foot down, bring the left leg up into table, but notice that the legs will start to want to turn out, hug in as if you're holding the block, keep the back muscles turned on, and as you inhale, slowly lower your hips, just 1 inch above the floor. Exhale, lift back up, trying to let those thighs turn out, stay hugged in. Inhale, slowly lower down. Exhale, lift back up. Inhale, lower slowly. Exhale, back up. Last one. Inhale, lower slow. Exhale, lift back up. Then set that left foot down. Hold there in the bridge. Seal your upper arm bones down into the floor. Spread your chest. And lower your hips slowly down to the floor. Then gently bring your knees in towards your chest. Roll yourself up to seated and come onto your hands and your knees. Place your hands right underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. Good, so we'll do a little cat-cow now. So I want you to start this cat-cow from your pelvis. Tip your sit bones up towards the ceiling, and then one bone at a time, feel the spine start to go into a back bend. And then from your hips, tuck your buttocks towards the backs of your knees, and one bone at a time, feel the spine round up towards the ceiling. One more time, start from your pelvis, tip the sit bones up, and then feel one bone at a time, the spine going into the back bend. And then again from the pelvis, buttocks under, and one bone at a time, feel the spine round up. Okay, now hold that rounded position, and then we're going to try it in reverse. We're going to try starting with the neck and the upper back. So start to take the neck into the back bend, and then one bone at a time, start to work down the spine, which if you've never done it before this way is super tricky for your brain. Good, and then start with the neck to round. So bring the head down and round one bone at a time, working your way all the way down towards the sacrum lower back. Good, now come into neutral. So you're not sinking, you're not rounding. Stretch your right arm forward out in front of you. Then imagine I placed a block on your lower back and you're not letting your lower back sink as you stretch your left leg back behind you. Sink or twist. Then as you exhale, bring your elbow and your knee towards each other. Inhale, reach back out. Exhale, elbow, knee in. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, elbow, knee in. Inhale, reach out. Lower your hand and your knee down. Stretch your left arm out in front of you. And without the lower back sinking, stretch your right leg back behind you. So feel the thigh in neutral like when you're holding the block, and then firm the buttock out of your lower back so you can feel the lower back get long. Exhale the elbow, knee towards each other. Inhale, reach back out. Exhale the elbow, knee towards each other. Inhale, back out. Last one, exhale the elbow, knee in. Inhale, reach out. Then lower your hand and your knee down. Press down into the four corners of your hands. Curl your toes under and lift your knees just an inch up off the mat. Now as you hold in this position, commit to the length. Make sure that the middle isn't sinking, your upper back isn't hunching up. Open the collarbones, brighten the collarbones, spread the collarbones. Then slowly start to take your hips up and back away from your wrists. But see if you can keep the length and keep reaching down through the four corners of your hands as you stretch back. Hold in your down dog. Breathe through your nose. Then walk your feet all the way forward to the front of your mat. And inhale, come into a flat back. Reach your chest forward, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold forward. Reach down through your feet. Inhale, come all the way up. Raise your arms up. And exhale, bring your hands to your heart, Samastiti. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into a flat back, lengthen. Step back one leg at a time into plank. Good, we'll just do one more little core warm up here. So as you hold in your plank, feel your mountain pose line, ankle to hips to shoulders to ears, and now raise your right leg up an inch without sinking or twisting. Hold that line strong, pull up and out. Change legs, raise the left leg up. Set that foot down. Now set your elbows down onto the mat. Good. Find your Tadasana line again. Ankles, hips, shoulders, ears. And raise the left leg up. And then tap your left big toe onto the right heel. Change sides, raise the right leg, and tap that big toe onto the heel without your middle sinking. Uncross that leg. Now slowly lower your hips down to the floor. Now, just like you practice feeling when we're doing the cat-cow, as your outer thighs roll down, feel the spine start to come into its back bend, rolling the energy of the lower back up into the middle back, upper back, and feel like this part of your spine, which is the thoracic spine in between your blades, like that could melt forward through your arms as your shoulder heads release back. Good, now curl your toes under, lift back up into plank on your forearms. Good, lift the front body, hug in with the outer legs, and then come up into plank on your hands. Now as you hold in plank on your hands, bend your elbows. Bend just a little bit more, not quite going into chaturanga, and then from there, come into upward dog. Roll right through your arms, but keep the bend in the elbows so that you can bring these shoulder blades onto the back more, and so you can take this back bend up through your spine, and like you're taking that middle upper spine through your arms as the shoulder heads roll back, outer thighs roll down. You can always do this with your knees down if it feels intense on your low back. Then from here, stretch back into downward facing dog. So now in down dog, instead of your blades trying to come towards each other like they were in the up dog, now I want you to lift out of the down dog a little, so you'll come like halfway into plank, and I want you to feel your shoulder blades spread on your back. And feel your outer arms wrap down. And then keeping that sensation, press into your hands. Feel a lift of energy up through your arms. Good, then walk your feet all the way forward to the front of your mat. Inhale into a flat back, get length. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up, raise your arms up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into a flat back. Step back one leg at a time into plank pose. Hold strong in your plank. Now do that little elbow bend again, and then come right into up dog so you can feel the blades roll onto the back, the spine move through. Then stretch back into downward dog. Good, as you hold in down dog, reach even into your hands. Now raise your right leg up behind you from the inner thigh. Good, hold that. Make sure that you can reconnect to the shoulder blade action, spreading. Now start to open your hips up to the right, and then bend your right knee, heel towards the buttock. But make sure that you're still spreading those blades, wrapping, reaching. Then re-extend your leg, level out your pelvis again, shift into plank, and pull your knee up to your chest. Good, hold there. Now lift that shin up higher away from the floor. Round your back, pull up more, and step your foot all the way up by your thumb. Turn your back heel down onto the mat, and set up your feet like you would for side angle. Now before you come up, rotate your right thigh from inside out until your knee is tracking, pointing straight ahead. Then press into your feet and come up into warrior two. So reach down through the four corners of your back foot, then glance at your right leg and make sure that you're rotating the thigh from inside out and stretching from the inner leg towards the inner knee, and plug from your outer knee back into your hip socket. Spread your collarbones to the reach of your arms, but also spread across the base of the back of the neck through the reach of the arms. Then from here, place your right hand onto the inside of your foot, block or floor, your call, if you want it. Left arm straight up. Then internally rotate your left arm, wrap it behind your back. Lift your heart away from your hip. Then open your arm back up, press down through your feet and come back into warrior two. Steady on the feet, tall through the spine. Now flip your right palm up and reach up to the ceiling, reverse warrior. Extended side angle, reach and put your hand onto the outside of your foot and take your left arm all the way over. Good, so connect into that back heel. Find your mountain pose line, that same plank line that you're looking for, the back ankle, hip, shoulder, ear. Good, now press down through your feet. Inhale, come back up into warrior two. And bring your hands down to the mat. Step back into down dog or take a vinyasa. Lower to chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale to downward dog. From down dog, connect into your hands, spread those blades, and then raise your left leg up from the inner thigh. Good, stay steady in your hands as you start to open your hips up to the left, and then bend the knee like you're gonna bring the heel towards the buttock. Re-extend your leg, level out your hips, shift into plank and pull your knee up to your chest. Then round your back, pull up like you're doing cat-cow, lift the shin up as high as you can, and step your foot lightly up by your thumb. Turn your back heel down onto the floor like you would for side angle. Good, then press your left thigh out. Inhale, come up into warrior two. So as you seal down through the four corners of your back foot, grow tall through the crown of your head, and then feel from your left inner leg, from the groin to the inner knee, you're spreading, and then from the outer knee, pull back into the hip socket. Send energy out past the fingertips. Then reach and put your hand down onto the inside of your foot. Take your right arm up. Internally rotate your arm and slide your hand behind your back. Once you get the hand to hook behind the back, roll the right shoulder head open. And practice feeling that length through the line of your back ankle. Open your arms back up, take your right arm up. Reach down through your feet, come up into warrior two. Reverse warrior, flip your palm, inhale, reach up. Extended side angle, place your hand onto the outside of your foot and take your right arm over. So now as you're holding this position, it's that same feeling like the shoulder blade is trying to spread on the back, and that's what's gonna free up your neck. The more that shoulder blade pinches in when you have your arm overhead, it's just showing that there's like knots, adhesions along the inner border of the blade. So you want to start to soften that, allow that to mobilize, feel the blade wrap out onto the side body, and then lengthen from the outer blade through the pinky finger. Press down into your feet, come back up into warrior two. Inhale. Exhale the hands to the mat, vinyasa, or downward dog, your call. Now when you lower to that chaturanga, make sure that you can roll the blades as you come through into the upward facing dog. Nice job. Now stretch back into down dog. Look in between your hands. Step or float lightly up to the front of your mat. Inhale into the flat back. That's pretty light, that's good. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into chair pose, sit your hips back, raise your arms up. Bring your hands to prayer, sit back a little deeper and twist to your right. Hook your left elbow to your knee. Aim your hips straight back, but reach your heart straight ahead. Pull up through the midline. Come back to chair pose. Keep your hips low, arms up. And twist to your left, hands to prayer. Hook your right elbow. Aim your hips straight back as you lift up and out through the midline. Come back to chair pose. And stand, release your arms down at your side. Inhale into chair pose, bend your knees, sit back, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back, get length. Step back and lower into Chaturanga. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale into downward dog. So if that Chaturanga, that's like the most advanced, if that bothers your shoulder, wrist, elbow, whatever, you can just do the little bend and roll into up dog instead. Step your right foot up by your right thumb and set up your back heel for warrior one. So angle the toes in a little more than halfway. Now pause here, come up onto your fingertips, reach the hips straight back, heart forward like you did in the twist. And then with the long, tall spine, lift to the front of your pelvis and come up into warrior one. Good. Now, as you hold warrior one, take your arms wide apart like you're doing the YMCA, the Y part, and then lift your heart up towards the ceiling, turn the triceps in, and bring the arms all the way up as you keep lifting your heart straight up. Join those palms together. But keep lifting your heart right up into your hands. Go taller. Don't sink back at all. Hands back down to the mat. Step back. Vinyasa. Roll through to upward. Stretch back to down dog. Step your left foot up by your left thumb. Set up your back heel. Aim the hips straight back, heart forward. Then lift from your front of your pelvis, navel, come up into warrior one. Raise your arms. Then take the hands wider apart. Feel space for the chest to lift. Rotate the triceps. Feel the blade spread. Now lift your heart up towards the ceiling, straight up. Keep wrapping those blades out as you join the palms all the way together. Keep lifting your heart all the way up into your pinkies. Go up, up, back leg tall. Hands back down to the mat. Step back and bend the elbows. Lower slow. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale into downward dog. Look in between your hands. Step or float up lightly to the front of your mat. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into chair pose. Bend your knees, sit back. Now bring your hands to prayer. Sit a little deeper in your chair and twist to your right again, chair twist. Hips straight back, heart forward. Then shift the weight over into your right heel. Without rounding in your back, keep your heart lifted. Step your left leg back into a lunge. Crescent twist. So make sure that your right knee is still pointing straight ahead. You haven't let the leg cave in at all. Ankle and knee hip tracking. And as you press down into your index finger knuckles, lift and spread your collarbones. Bring your hands back down to the mat. Step back, Vinyasa, or just go straight back into downward dog. Look in between your hands. Step or float up to the front of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into chair pose. Bring hands to prayer. Sit back a little deeper and twist to your left. Hook the elbow. Feel the spine get taller, longer as you're twisting. Then shift your weight over into your left foot. Step your right leg back. And hold here for 5 breaths. So feel your back leg energy, tall, like you're recreating the mountain pose line from the back ankle through the spine again. Bring your hands back down to the mat and step back into downward dog or take a vinyasa. Good, now in down dog, bring your feet together and roll to the outside edge of your left foot. Take your right arm up, Vashisthasana, side plank. Line your body up with your ankles, lift up from your navel, lift your heart, and lean your head back into alignment with your spine. Then hold here, or add on, turn your right big toe up to the ceiling, and slide your heel up the inseam of your leg like a tree pose leg. Then externally rotate your top arm and reach it overhead. Spread that blade on the right arm, reach past your pinky. Take your arm back up. Slowly stretch that leg out and come back into downward dog. Good job. Change sides. Roll to the outside edge of your right foot. Take your left arm up. Stack your left hip right up on top of your right. Grow tall up through the line of your ankles. Then hold here or turn your left big toe up to the ceiling and slide the heel up the inseam of the leg. Externally rotate your top arm and reach it all the way over. Feel the blade spread on the back. Then take your arm back up, stretch your leg out, and back into downward dog. Good, now set your knees down onto the mat. Set your elbows down, hands shoulder distance apart. Curl your toes, lift your knees, lift your hips up. So you want to feel that as you're in this position, the inner arms are rolling forward, outer shoulders rolling back, and even like the skin on the inner forearm is lengthening forward. Now see if you can keep your hips up high, your core engaged as you raise your right leg up from the inner thigh. Change legs, raise your left leg up. Lower that leg back down. Lift your hips up one more inch. And then from here, can you lift your elbows straight up? Good. And then come to seated. Sit in Dandasana, legs straight out in front of you, hands next to your hips. Imagine that you're seated with your back up against the wall. And then lean your torso back halfway, slide your heels towards you, and bring your legs up into boat pose. Then roll down onto your lower back. Bring your knees right up over top of your hips to start. Put your hands behind your head. Inhale, roll down, roll your head down, let your chest open. And then exhale, curl yourself up to your knees. Come up as high as you can. Good, and then point the elbows forward. And as you hold your abdominals in, stretch your left leg out. Without the belly untucking, slowly change legs. Good, then keeping the abdominals gripped in, crunch up one more inch up off your shoulders, and then stretch your left leg out to meet your right. Both legs out. Now squeeze those legs together like one leg, and reach to the ball of your big toe. Good, come back up into boat pose. And into reverse plank with knees bent. Place your feet down, hands a foot behind you. Lift your heart straight up to the ceiling, roll your shoulder heads back, and then lift your hips up. So as you press down into those feet, feel the outer hips lift. Lift your heart, roll the shoulders, and then let the tailbone go straight up towards the ceiling. Lower your hips back down. Round 2, boat pose. Knees up, arms forward. Good, then lower down onto your back. Hands behind your head. Inhale, lower the head down. Exhale, curl up to your knees. Holding the abdominals in, stretch the right leg forward. Good, change legs. And holding that left leg strong, stretch the right leg out to meet it, but don't lean back at all, stay crunched up. And then squeeze those legs together like one leg, like I tied a rope around your legs and cinched it in. Good, come back up to boat pose. And round 2, reverse plank. Knees bent again, or legs straight this round, your call. Go up, 5 breaths. And lower yourself back down. Good, now lie down onto your back. And just like we started, let's come into bridge pose. Except this time, let's position the hands for Urdhva Dhanurasana. So place your hands under your shoulders, turn the triceps in towards each other, and then feel the base of the back of the neck spread. Good, now lift your hips up. And you might just stay here or press into the hands and the feet and lift up onto the crown of your head for a breath. Pause. Mobilize, move the back ribs and the buttocks further away from each other. And then possibly go all the way up on the hands and the feet. Lower yourself back down. And take a breath. Good, set up your hands again. Now whatever phase that you need to work in, that's fine. If it's just bridge or the hand preparation or the full thing, go ahead, 5 breaths. Lower yourself slowly back down. And gently bring your knees into your chest. Take happy baby. Then bring the knees into the chest again and open your arms out to the side for Jaitara Parivartanasana. Squeeze your knees in, and keeping the knees together, bring the knees over towards your right armpit. Now turn your belly to the left, back to the spine, and then to the left to bring the knees back to center. Take the knees over towards your left armpit, and then feel your navel soften back to your spine, spin it towards your right hand to bring your knees back to center. Over to the right, back to center, over to the left, back to center, one more round over to the right, and over to the left. Good, then come back to center. Hug your right knee in as you stretch your left leg out along the floor. Open your right arm out to the side. And twist. Take your knee over to the left. Come back to center. Change legs. Hug your left knee in. Open your arm out to the side. And twist. Come back to center, and then stretch out for Shavasana, corpse pose. So let your feet fall open. Have your hands at least a foot away from your body so it feels like your armpits can open, chest can open. And then just let the whole body completely relax. Let go of the feet and the legs. Relax the tension in your hips and your lower back. Soften the abdomen. Soften the chest and the shoulders. Let go of any tension in your hands and your arms. Empty the tension in your jaw and in your tongue. Feel all the muscles in your face completely relax. And take a slightly fuller, deeper breath in and out through your nose. Bend your knees and roll over to your right side. Press yourself up to seated. Bring your palms together. Thank you. Namaste. All right, so thank you for joining us today. Hey, if you enjoyed the class, hit the like button. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you have any suggestions for next week's video. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and turn on your notifications bell. That'll make sure that you don't miss any future updates, and it's the best way to support the channel if that's something you're into. All right, have a great week, and I'll see you next time.